Hello, this is David Kozich, Chief Minister and Chief Spiritual Officer for the LoveMakers Foundation, a hybrid spiritual organization whose purpose is to bring love to the world and to help each and every person in this planet become love. Today's message, broadcast from Lake Arrowhead, our spiritual headquarters in Lake Arrowhead, California. Our love message is love, feeling the presence of God, overcoming life's problems. It's a broad topic, it's a massive topic, but it's one that I think that if you're on a spiritual path that we should think about, because we want to live our highest life. We want to live a life that's meaningful, don't we? We want to live a life of joy and happiness. But there are a couple of things we have to define here before we start talking about finding God's presence. For example, in prayer, prayer, if you pray, whether it's a Christian prayer or just a general prayer about God, a Jewish prayer, a Hindu prayer, any kind of prayer, an Islamic prayer, any kind of prayer, if you pray, you're sending out a very positive energy. But when you pray, who's listening? You're not listening. Even if you're emotional, you're not listening. You're not getting that feeling. And you may be doing it with emotions and feelings, but that doesn't mean you're actually connecting. Now, that may lead cumulatively to some type of connection, because prayer is a valuable spiritual practice that I practice every day. And we'll finish our talk today about prayer. But prayer isn't generally always enough to find that God presence. But what is that feeling of God's presence? Life, unfortunately or fortunately, is subjective and objective. Each and every one of you have a different view of yourself's spiritual practice, what spirituality is, what God is to you, how you live your life, what your thoughts are, what you think is your ultimate reality. But what is a feeling? A feeling is greater than thinking, it's greater than emotions, it's greater than your senses and your perceptions. You have to go beyond what you think is connectivity. You have to go beyond thinking. You have to go beyond emotions. You have to go beyond perceptions. And then that question, of course, is, what is God? Who is God? What is God? Now, in my opinion, God isn't some person. You can't see God. But there are many definitions that include God. Let me just read a few. Deborah and I, in our book, Absolute Love, the 12 Principles of Love, talked about, I put in a definition of God. And because it has many definitions, it's a continuum. God is omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient, omnipresent, immanent, and transcendent, a supreme and all-powerful, all-knowing entity, the divine creator. God is infinite intelligence. God is a separate, supreme entity. In Merriam-Webster's dictionary, in Christianity and other non-monotheistic religions, God is the creator and ruler of the universe, a source of all moral authority, the supreme being. In other religions, it's a superhuman being or a spirit worshipped or having power over nature or human fortunes. In our book, Absolute Love, we define God as absolute love. Whatever, and again, that can include you. Whatever your definition of absolute and God is, that's for you to decide, isn't it? Because here at LoveMakers, we're saying that love and that ability to love, that ability to resonate and emanate the power of all that is, the power of kindness, of compassion, of confidence, of courage, of connecting with everything. That power can be harnessed, that energy, that special energy of love can be harnessed at the highest level. And that the highest level, the God level, is absolute love. Whether you're in the Bible and Jesus is talking about God the Father, that's absolute love right there. Or it can be more of a metaphysical definition, such as infinite love, infinite grace, can't it? So think about what God means to you, but in absolute love, I believe love is everywhere. It's immanent and transcendent. It's everywhere and it transcends us. I think everybody discounts and underdefines what God is. We can't, we make it what we call an anthropomorphic definition based on our own basic human experience. once you start to feel God's presence, once you go and start in that path of becoming love, you're going to discover that God is a lot more than you even thought about, or that you even emote. And so let's talk about a little bit about what you have to do to find God's presence. Well, first of all, you have to eliminate duality. Non-duality is essential for feeling God's presence. Because if you're thinking, you're not going to be feeling. If you're just emoting, you're not going to be feeling. If you're just talking, you're not going to be feeling. So you have to go beyond that. You have to put your attention into feeling. You have to clear the deck. Master Eckhart, a truly spiritual Christian philosopher, basically said you have to empty yourself of everything and discover that you and God, that I and God are one. And once you do that and integrate totally, you start to feel that presence. Because that presence of God has to come into the heart. And it's when we stop thinking. It's when we, let's say, take a moment to walk in the woods or along the beach. It's when we have moments of silence. You have to create space in your heart and get out of your thinking, but get into your mind-heart relationship and expand yourself to observe, to pay attention, to put that focus on love and grace without thinking, without thought. Henry Newen, the priest, I believe Canadian priest, wrote, "Each time you let the love of God penetrate deeper into your heart, it leads to a love of ourselves that enables us to give wholehearted love to our fellow human beings. In the seclusion of our hearts, we learn to know the hidden presence of God." Maya Angelou went on to say, in the seclusion of our hearts, we learn to know the hidden presence of God. So she was taking, I think, Henry Newen's statements and making them her own. But you have to bring it into your heart. You have to clear the deck, as Master Eckhart stated. You've got to release all thought and let it come to you. Be able to perceive. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within, didn't he? In Luke 17:21. And what that means is it's right here. It starts right here with you. It starts within with you. And when you let it go, when you let it go and start to commune with all that is, when you eliminate thought and you go to a higher vibration, higher frequency, the broader your vision, what happens is you connect with a higher source. And you will connect with your higher source. And by doing that, all of life's problems become minuscule, no matter what those problems are. And when you learn to channel that love and that energy into your life positively, miracles will happen. It's funny because everybody looks without, and many religious people, like, for example, Mother Teresa, who's now Saint Teresa, had that duality with God, even though she probably prayed literally every day for 40 or 50, 60 years. She couldn't find that connection because she didn't allow herself to absorb God, to become one with God, to become one with her highest self. Maharshi says, before you go to bed at night, just ask yourself, who am I? Because he realized it comes from the heart. When you wake up, you might feel God's presence. But whatever it is for you, you've got to eliminate duality. You've got to open up your heart, open up yourself to feeling this amazing presence, this amazing consciousness, this love consciousness, this energy. Because absolute love is God. And you will feel it each every moment of your life. There's somebody once wrote, look, God is already here. All you have to do is become aware of it. And that's what my discussion today is about, what this love message is about, is becoming aware of the power, the beauty, the grace, the infiniteness of love as it connects to God and all that is. And that you can get that high vibration and raise your frequency of perception and feel that presence. And you're not going to maybe know when it happens. Maybe you are praying and that later on you will feel God's presence, because it's there now. And when I meditated and I prayed and I brought my light energy protocol into play, I prepared for today, because I want to be as high of myself as I can be delivering this message, because this is what we need and where we need to bring the world to love, to opening up our hearts to ourselves, to one another, to our highest selves, to God, a God that encompasses every human being on the planet, that's immanent and transcendent, that is totally loving, that is infinite, that can match is both personal and impersonal, because that power is now. Let me just finish this discussion off with a prayer, because we could talk literally for days on days. If there's any more interest in this, please let us know, either on the YouTube channel itself or through our email or through our phone number at LoveMakersFoundation.com. But now I pray, I affirm that God's presence is with us now. That in every moment of our lives, we open up our hearts to the presence of infinite love, of infinite intelligence, of infinite grace, allowing the flow of universal energy, of God energy, of absolute love to flow into us, and that we are aware of that energy now, and that when we want to at any time, we can access this presence by closing our eyes and bringing infinite, absolute love into our hearts now. So God, thank you for the truth of universal energy, of absolute love, of the power, our power within to access your presence and the presence of infinite intelligence, of your presence, God, anytime we want. So we thank you and release these words as absolute truth. So it is so, amen. So take these words with you and go in peace. But know that my own personal protocol, I use light energy, combine it with love through my third eye. And what I do is I eliminate or reduce and raise my frequency so high beyond perception and senses, beyond emotions, beyond intelligence, beyond even my own spiritual self, beyond collective consciousness, beyond even an angelic or might be a supernatural consciousness. I lift it and have a frequency that's so high, and the light is so perfect that I can connect. And if any of our love makers out there, if you're a LoveMaker member, if you're a member of LoveMakers, an official member of LoveMakers Foundation, you can call or email, and I will personally share my protocol with you. But know that you are loved, know that we are loved, know that God is love, know that God is absolute love. So it is so, and remember, love is the way.